With all the transparency laws on the books, wouldn't you think our government would be more transparent by now? Coming up next.
Adrienne Southworth is running to be the 7th District's next state senator. Previously the Deputy Chief of Staff for Lieutenant Governor Janine Hampton and leader of the watchdog organization Take Back Kentucky, Adrienne's combination of experience and skill is known to unwind the labyrinth of state government for the benefit of many, not just the few. She is the proven problem solver we can trust to represent our views, listen to our needs, and despite the challenges we face, always find the best solutions.
Hey everyone, I'm Adrienne Southworth, and I've got my friend Andrew with me today.
Good to see you, Adrienne.
Thanks so much for coming.
Thanks for having me. So we're talking about transparency. There's open records requests laws, there's Freedom of Information Act, open meetings laws. Our government is pretty transparent, isn't it?
No.
How so?
Okay, so when you have government agents responsible for their own transparency, do you really think that it's going to be transparent?
Maybe when they want it to be.
Well, that's pretty much right. So, okay, for example, you mentioned open records. Open records is 3 days you're supposed to be able to get whatever records are subject to the Open Records Act. Well, the people that are actually doing the open records, finding it and getting it for you, you've got to have hands and feet to this thing.
Mm-hmm.
They're the ones that are actually making it happen, and it doesn't really happen. Now, some agencies, I will say, they do Open Records Act correctly, generally, most of the time, but it's probably not a rule. Because when I've done some open records requests before, and I haven't done one from every single agency, but several have a little bit of a theme, and that is, the law says 3 days, and I figured out their pattern. Their pattern is wait till the 4th day and then get started. And so I can count on a calendar, and I put an open records request to a certain agency. I say, okay, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I know what day it's going to come. And it happens every time. It's crazy. So why in the world does that stuff happen? Because who's going to stop them?
It sounds like they're violating the law by waiting longer than the law says. Are there any penalties in place?
Well, there are some penalties in the law, but see, the law penalties don't necessarily cover the entire scope of the law. So it's exactly right. Whenever you go to put in an appeal, if they just skirted the law, there's not really a stated penalty for that. If they flat out violate, do not give you 200 pages of records, then you can go and try to get your 200 pages. But, here's an example. So I do an open records request. They start making up stories about what all needs to happen, okay? I think we went around for I didn't even hear from them until like the end of the first week. And then I'm waiting a whole nother week to hear back. And this whole time I'm waiting on them to send me, I don't know how many sheets of paper it is, but it can't be that much stuff, I don't think. And we go around for like 2 weeks, and this thing got super complicated. But the short story is, I end up showing up to go get this mass volume of something, right? 2 sheets of paper.
Wow.
All of that for 2 sheets of paper.
So as long as they get it to you eventually, there's not a whole lot you can do to them.
Well, I did end up going through an appeal, and I actually did win that appeal, because they had broken, 4, 5, 6 different issues that they had not done that were according to the law. But here's the thing. Okay, so I won the appeal. Now what? What happens? The next time I did an open records request, how long did they take? Here we go again, the 5-day rule,
Right.
And it was just the same circus over and over. Now, granted, they didn't do all of the other infractions, but in order to get any attention to it, there really was nothing I can do. In fact, I'm still getting, 5 and 6 day later records requests.
Wow, that's too long for sure.
Well, it's the dysfunction of the swamp. I mean, think about, for example, we had, the whole impeachment circus going on. The impeachment circus was essentially a lot of swamp monsters trying to just play a game, right? I don't know how much actual content there was versus how much fluff there was.
Right.
And if you can fluff it up enough, people can maybe try to fall off or
Right.
not keep up or get mixed up and or think you have something I mean, it's just how bureaucrats work. It's how
Right.
they got that title bureaucrat.
So I know you have a lot of experience in this transparency area. Is there another major time when you had difficulty getting information out of a government official?
Well, I think the best example, of course, is last year. I mean, everybody knows we have this whole, lieutenant governor's staff have been fired. The governor doesn't even know about it. How does that happen, right?
Right.
I mean, I think we still have media, it was all over the country, still trying to figure out what actually happened. And even after stories started coming out, I can't even tell you now, having had a front row seat, I can't even still tell you exactly what happened. So, I mean, that's the kind of non-transparency that goes on every day.
People getting fired and people not even knowing who fired them?
Well,
That's a
yeah, that's a great example. But I mean, it's one of those, if the government agency workers don't even know what's going on, how in the world can they tell the public? And that really is one of the big issues with transparency is there's a lot of stuff that nobody ever talks about. And so if you don't even know that, let's say you're coming in as a new legislator, right? How do you even know the questions to ask? What's interesting, everybody, I'll be ready on day one. Well, tell me what day one looks like. Let's just talk about that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, and coming in as a new legislator, we have all these laws in place. What can you do as a state senator to promote transparency other than pass yet another law?
Right, exactly. And I think a lot of that is looking at the laws that you have. For example, we don't have a bad open records law. We really don't. But like you pointed out, where is the penalty? And do we have a penalty on each of the requirements? And how is that followed through? Is it going to be followed through internally, or is it going to go through a few different checks and balances? You've got to kind of make a whole loop. And so it works really well when there's actually a full circle loop that you can accomplish. But because there's an open end on so many of those are the ones that they focus on to kind of slide behind.
So close those loops.
That's exactly right. Close those loops. In fact, one of my key legislative priorities, year one, is to just close up some of those loops. We could get a lot more information about other things that we need. For example, the pension crisis. We can't even get answers on what's even going on. How do we solve it? Right? So if we had better access to records with closed loops, then we might be able to get our fingers on a little bit more of this stuff.
Yeah, and I know specifically on the pension issue, the pension systems will contract with a lot of investment managers, and those contracts historically, I think the auditor's office did a big report on this. They couldn't even get entire copies of contracts that were specifically supposed to be included.
Yeah, if an auditor can't even find it, how in the world are the people going to know where to look or how to get anything? We can't have the fox watching the hen house on this. I'm Adrienne Southworth. Vote June 23rd.
Share this video with your friends in Anderson, Franklin, Gallatin, Owen, and Woodford counties. And please vote for Adrienne Southworth